During the time Hudson Soft was healthy in the gaming industry, they were credited for creating multiple well-known games such as the Mario Party series, Adventure Island, and of course, Bomberman. For those unaware, Bomberman is a maze-like strategy game that has you put in various levels with the objective of clearing through enemies and obstacles with the use of bombs. Upon its release, it became a hit and generated tons of games for the series as well as many spin-offs. Its first spin-off game, RoboWarrior, is the topic at hand for this video. The story is focused on the future where Earth has become polluted and overpopulated, that they started colonizing on a new planet called Untitled. However, the evil Xanthos Empire took over the planet and deactivated the weather device, turning Untitled into a wasteland. So the people of Untitled call upon Earth and they reactivate a cyborg named Zed to go onto the planet and defeat the Xanthos Empire and its dictator, Zur. The story isn't mentioned in the game, nor is there any progression of it whatsoever. The only time the story is mentioned is in the damn manual, which seems like a tradition for any game published by Jaleco. So you get on this planet, assuming the role of Zed, to take out these strange looking monsters and clearing hazards out of your path and get to the end of each level. You'll notice right off the bat that the gameplay is heavily similar to Bomberman. It's the same routine, but the fun factor is not as equal. When you get a minute into it, you'll notice how difficult this game gets. When you start out, you're given two weapons, a regular blaster that barely shoots halfway across the screen, and bombs which you'll be relying on constantly to clear trees and such. Unlike the blaster, you don't carry an infinite amount of bombs, so you'll have to keep collecting them found from destroying trees and killing enemies, which will always leave a blue icon that will give you one bomb. Now you might think, oh well, these bombs must get the job done if they're more effective than the blaster. They do as expected, but it's not a simple job. Placing a bomb down is no problem, but getting out of the way is tricky, and this is where your frustration will start to emerge. In many games, when you lay out a bomb, you're given 5 seconds or so to clear out, but in RoboWarrior, you're given 1 second before these bombs go off, and their blast range are ridiculous. You think you're in the clear when karma hits right back at you, and if you lay a bomb in very tight spaces, you'll find it almost impossible to get out in time, and it really doesn't help much that Zed's pacing is mediocre. The bombs aren't your only concern, as you'll have enemies to fend off, and these creatures are irritating to deal with, especially when you're laying bombs down or fighting them in tight areas. You could get some of them with the bombs, but you'll have to rely on your arsenal since most of them just fly by, and you do get better weapons along the way, likewise with items and power-ups. But you'll have to do tons of landscaping, and goodies such as hyper missiles, megaton bombs, and superchargers are worth it. One of the ways to get more items faster is by getting teleported to dark areas from staircases. However, in order to find anything, you have to use candles as light to see the items, and the same goes to finding your way out. And I'm sorry, but it's really odd that light is represented as candlesticks. Maybe a light spear would have cleared the confusion up. Not that it matters anyway, since the light doesn't illuminate the entire room and it only creates a circle around you, and the use of the light is limited, thus forcing you to keep going back to your menu to select the light again. And if you have none to use, you might as well kill yourself because you will not find the exit without light unless you have a lamp, which must be used in specific areas of the game like levels that start you in pitch black. Another obstacle to tackle is your health. Since you're a machine relying on power, your battery is not unlimited and your power is constantly decreasing every few seconds, making you collect more battery packs to keep yourself functioning, and you need to avoid as much damage as possible since your health is very fragile and any contact with hazards can drain your supply dramatically. Some of the enemies you come across will give you a tough time, especially these crawlers that can launch missiles, and just one hit from them can drain over half of your power. With the equipment you collect, you have to be smart of using them, because if you use them in areas that don't require them, you'll be stumped in later parts of the game. For each level, you have to find a key to open the path to the next level. This is, in my opinion, a huge flaw due to the fact that you have no way of knowing where the key could be located. And since the game doesn't allow backtracking, you have to keep moving forward and bomb a ton of objects, which results in depleting your ammunition unless you have better weapons. And when you run out of bombs, it takes time for enemies to fly by the screen, all the while your health continues to drain. There's even levels where you have to find the chalice first and then find the key, otherwise the level will loop. Not to mention moments where you have to plan your routes with much attention, because if you come to a dead end, you pretty much screwed yourself. On the plus side, there are plenty of secrets to find, such as blowing away random blocks to reveal hidden paths, rooms, and shortcuts that will ease the pain of traversing. You also go to the items shop at the end of each level to stock up on your supply. It takes time to find these secrets, but can be worth it to some extent. Given the time RoboWarrior came out, the graphics are pretty outstanding. All the sprites are given attentive details and there's a nice variety of objects throughout the game. The animation is really well for pretty much all of the characters. The levels themselves are similar for each one you play with different colors to them, and the same can be said for the enemies as they either differ in color schemes or appearance. Each level can get a bit repetitive, but not always. While the controls are adequate, they can be awkward, mainly with dropping bombs in front of you and being forced to immediately clear out. Also, if you want to access your inventory, you have to press select and choose which item or weapon you want to use. But if you're not used to the controls, chances are you'll waste the item or weapon right after you equip it. Moving diagonally can be quite a chore as you'll have to keep moving up and right and such to perform some maneuverings, especially with the bosses. This game doesn't boast a huge soundtrack, which can make listening to the level music repetitive, especially when you're on a level for a long period of time. The sound is just your average run-of-the-mill stuff. As brutal as this game is, it's actually generous enough to include a warning sound to indicate your health is low. While RoboWarrior doesn't do much different than from other Bomberman-like games and the difficulty being unforgiving, it's not entirely a terrible game. For those that enjoy a good challenge every now and then, this game is worth a shot, but if you're more of a casual player, you're better off steering away from it. This game isn't by any means a hidden gem as the cost for a copy is really low, but can be worth it if you can overcome the frustration thrown at you. To tell you the truth, this game was so hard for me back when I was young that I could never beat the first level. But like many, I've matured enough to know what I'm doing in video games. But playing this after all those years have passed, the anger I feel has never left. Yet I feel at times obligated to get further like in many endeavors. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Riley Sky, and until next time, I will see you all later.